Hello and welcome back. This is session 6 of 9 on 3DUserNet. Today we're going to be diving deeper into the measurement tools, including linear measurements and heights, adding points and spot heights, creating a profile, then exporting those measurements out. So we last left the project here with our ClipBoxes on. We're just going to switch those off for now. So in the Data Management tab under ClipBoxes, we're just going to unselect our outer clipping. And then from the global visibility menu, we'll just switch off clipping boxes. So now we've got our full dataset back. So today we'll just add a few measurements around. Not too many, as these are short tutorials. Obviously, feel free to spend more time and add as many as you want. So we're just going to go to our measurement tab. And we're just going to take measurements along the ground line of this wall. So we're going to select our polygonal distance tool. We start by clicking on our first point, and then we just have to left click to generate more measurements. We don't have to be too accurate at this point, as we'll refine their positions in a bit. As you can see, we can't get into this corner, so for now I'm just going to click on the far wall and finish off here, then right click to close the tool. Now we want to refine these down. So we're just going to come into our data a bit more. I'm just going to make the point size slightly bigger. So now I'm going to click on this button down here, which is our Note Measurement Edit button. If we hover our mouse over a point till it flashes, I can then click and drag it along. Now I can't navigate whilst I'm in this mode, as the navigation is locked. So I just need to come out of that mode, and then I've got my navigation tools back. I'm just going to work through the rest of these. There we go. So we can just put our measurements down and refine them as accurately as we need to. So I'm now going to take a couple of height measurements. Let's take a window height and a sill height as well. We have a specific tool for doing that. So just select the height tool. And now I'm going to try and just get close, and then we'll refine it afterwards. So there we go, we've got some height measurements in as well. So all these tools work between models, line work and point clouds as well. So let's bring our models in for now. And create a height measurement from the top to the base. So the measurements all work nicely between all of these assets that we can bring in. I'm just going to show you another tool called Profiles. Profiles does only work on point clouds, but it allows us to take an elevation and isolate those points separately. So select the tool here, and I'm just going to click on the ground either side of the elevation I'm interested in. I'm not too worried about getting it too accurate. Again, we'll deal with that when we adjust the points. I'm just trying to get as much of the wall highlighted as possible. Now obviously the thickness of the profile isn't large enough for me to cover the wall, so I'm just going to come into the Data Management tab. And under Measurements, over here I can adjust the thickness of my profile. I can also click on this button here to manually type it in. So lastly we hit View Profile and that will load the data. It's not my full data that loads up, but it will bring in around 30,000 points. Generally this is good enough for working out the outline of your elevation. You can also export the data as an LAS file. Just to show you what that looks like, we'll bring that into a desktop application. So as I mentioned, it's not your full data set, but it's certainly enough to pick out geometry from. Lastly, let's cover points. If I were to pick out, for example, a point at the top of this wall, I can pick out their XYZs. If I'm interested in just the heights, not the figures, then I can use spot heights. Lastly, I can go down to my table below. I can export each type of measurement. For example, under point, I can export these out as a CSV or a PDF. Same with heights. This gives my two XYZ locations. Distances are slightly different as these are polygonal in nature. However, we can access the XYZs from the Details menu. There are more measurement tools in here, so please do spend a bit of time testing these out. In the next session, we'll be looking at creating different views and covering the saved states. So just before we sign off, I'm just going to save this version. Okay, I'll see you next session.